Good morning, Coach.
Morning, guys.
How do you sleep after a game like that? Do you sleep better?
Usually pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Every night.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you got it together. How are you so friggin' poised?
Yeah, do you take any melatonin? Do you have any sleep aids?
How about a couple beers?
Because we need help every night in that department. I get the Sunday scaries every night.
I'm like a 4-hour a night guy,
That's
so
not
you're
great.
exhausted by the time you get to bed.
yeah, like I'm usually out, and then I just even if we play really well, or you still like my mind gets racing, and so I've got a checklist of like, okay, I need to do this, and this tomorrow, and then usually fairly early in the morning that my brain wakes me up. I don't need an alarm, and I'm ready to roll.
Wow. So if you're a 4-hour a night guy, are you like most of your players? I'm just going to assume most of your players do the game day ritual of they take a nap on game day.
Oh,
now,
he ain't taking a nap.
Do you sneak in naps like the players do? Because the junks, I'll be honest, I hit a nap 4 or 5 days out of the week. I mean, I'm very consistent with my nap routine.
Yes. Game days, I usually will try to lay down and get like an hour.
Oh, you do?
Usually. Sometimes no, but it usually helps me because like some of the, especially on the road, like you'll be up till 11:30 midnight, and you'll want to try to bang out some work after the game. So it'll help me be a little bit more alert, being able to cut some film.
This might sound like a stupid question, but I mean, most of my questions are stupid. But when I was at the last game a few weeks ago, it was when I think the Bruins came into town. We sent them home sadly.
Yeah.
I was watching, and sometimes I could tell, like you're like stretching your head around. Like it's hard for you to. Can you see everything from your spot, from where you are? Can you pretty much see everything?
Mostly, there's a few spots. So like the
Behind the net or something? Yeah.
No, the net, I'm fine. It's the corners that are on the bench side. So sometimes, like, I can't see because the glass and everything, so I'll stand up on the bench if I need to see something down in either of those corners, whether it's in our end or the far end, because, like, your angle, it, like, is obstructed by fans and the glass and that. So sometimes I'll stand up to get a better view of those corners.
And again, forgive me because I never played hockey, and it's hard to tell when you're watching. Are you the one that's calling out the next line, or just one of your assistants doing that? Are you tapping guys on the shoulder? How does that work?
So I do the forwards. So all the forward lines, like I'll call who's up next.
Right.
And Mitch Love will do the D. So he deals with all who the next D pair that's coming up.
Okay.
And something funny, like, so as the game goes along, and I've gotten better at this, but I still have my go-to guys. Like Nick Dowd is my go-to guy, and Dubois as well. As like sometimes I'm looking for a matchup, and so I'll wait as long as I can to call the next line.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll get a little bit dicey because guys know, they're like, "Hey, Carbs, who's going?
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll give me like the reminder as it's getting real close to guys need to get off. We need to know who's going. And I try to hold off.
Yeah. Are you hollering at them? Are you like, get off, Ovi? Or are they? Does that happen?
You know what? It's such a common question. People ask me that all the time of like, how does everybody change in unison and know when to get off the ice? And it's crazy. If you've never played, it's hard to explain, but basically we have an internal clock.
Yeah.
Like you can go a shift for about 45 to 50 where you now can't, your output levels, like it's just the farthest the human body can go as you're going up and down the ice is about 45 to 50 seconds. So it's an internal clock knowing everybody on the ice at that point knows like, okay, it's time for me to get off. So that's why everybody comes at the same time and they know my shift's over, 45 seconds, next line up.
Right.
Before we get into this game, I'm curious, since we're talking kind of about your coaching, you've been coaching for several years now in the minors and now, of course, in the pros, your second season here with the Capitals. How's your coaching evolved? If you had to go to Spencer Carbery, first year coaching, to Spencer Carbery right now, what's changed?
Oh, well, I've learned a ton, and I'm always getting better and fine-tuning and experience and you just get better. It's hard to explain. It's not like you're going to school and you're like studying how to coach and handle different situations and communicate and have meetings. And you just, with experience, and as you get to know your players and your team better, you just become way more effective at what you're doing. Like the experiences that you go through with your players in certain situations in games, you just get better and better and better at handling those and coaching those situations is probably the best way I can put it. So I'll give you an example. Like my individual meetings with Tom Wilson have gotten so much better than last year because I know Willie and I know his tendencies and I know his game so well, having been around it for the last 100 and some odd games and watched him I know the triggers in his game that I need to help. Hey, we got to get this back on track. You're doing a great job here. Here's where we got to get better. So I think you just get better and better and better with experience is the easiest way to answer that.